Hey everybody, Funky Maclunkey again, and I'm back with another tour of my collection. This time, we're going to focus on Endor. And the reason I'm picking Endor is because I've got, just like most other people, I've got a pretty good little Ewok setup in there. But I wasn't a huge playset guy when I was a kid. My original collection has vehicles, but mostly figures and knickknacks and all the accessories and all that. I was really good about hanging on to those somehow as a kid and not losing all the tiny little pieces. But I didn't have many play sets. And one play set that I did have was the Ewok Village. I spent a lot of time with the Ewok Village. Since then, I've added to that scene, that collection. And so let's go ahead and take a look. Well, like I said, what I love about this playset is it's one of the few that I actually had as a kid. And so I have all the original parts, miraculously, to the playset, with the exception of one of the rails. I had to replace one of the rails. I bought one of those on eBay years ago to replace that. But other than that, I managed to hang on to all of it. Since then, I've added to the collection with all the dudes that you see here. Again, not the biggest collection in the world, but it's got a couple of unique items in it that I really like. So, you know, all the obvious characters are here. We've got all the original Ewoks, along with our Endor heroes. Got the glider hanging up there. I actually, one reason that this actually has sentimental value to me is that for some reason as a child I painted the ropes around the boulder here with some sort of sparkly gold paint. Don't know why I did that, but I think it's kind of cool. I've got my Funky Maclunkey original 3D printed Force Ghost back there. Even old, Luke Skywalker Force Ghost from Rise of Skywalker. Not going to comment on how much I do not like that movie, other than to say I do not like that movie, but, got to include Force Ghost Luke in there. So as you can see, we've got all the original Kenner dudes and then a bunch of my own creations here, including the bent leg biker scout. We've got the Rebel Spy Biker Scout, who, depending on what you believe, is either a character named Nick Sant or it's Captain Rex. I'm not going to comment on that. Some original Rebels that I made here. And then, of course, our Jedi duel, our final duel, Luke, down here, who's looking kind of lonely. He needs Darth Vader to fight. Now, I love this. This is one of the body rigs that's pretty hard to find. It's one of 3 that they released during that time. This is probably my favorite mini rig that Kenner ever did. I just love the design. It's just very creative. It really does feel like an otherworldly design that as Kenner used to say with their mini rigs, that they were designed to look as though they were just off screen. That feels like it was just off screen. Really fits. You'll see tucked away back there, I'm also noticing how crazy looking the wall behind my displays is. We've got a vent there, we've got an old cable jack, and looks like some gaffer's tape plugging a hole. That needs to be fixed. I need a nice jungle indoor backdrop back there. That's what I need to do. Anyway, we got old Friar Tuck back there. A lot of you know the story of Friar Tuck, so I'll make it quick, but basically, he was a character from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, the Kevin Costner movie. Kenner made action figures for those, and they reused some molds. They actually made a Sherwood Forest playset that was modeled after the Ewok Village, and they made a Friar Tuck figure here who was a portly gentleman, and underneath that robe, he bears a striking resemblance to Gamorrean Guard from Return of the Jedi, which I like to imagine that the actor that played that character, who's been in tons of things, was really excited to have an action figure made of himself, and then to find out that they'd modeled his body after a giant pig alien creature in Star Wars probably didn't make him feel super flattered. But anyway, I include him in the collection just because he's a fun story. And then, let's see, we go over here. Now, that Ewok puppet back there is the only stuffed Ewok that I have. Is he a puppet? I think he's a puppet. Anyway, but the hat that he's wearing, that Ewok hat. I love this thing. I had that when I was a kid. I wore it all the time, but the best thing about it is that I actually think my dad liked that hat more than I did. And I've got all these pictures of him shoveling snow and doing other things outside wearing that darn Ewok hat. And so whenever I see that, it just reminds me of shoveling New Jersey snow with my dad wearing that ridiculous hat. Let's see what else we got in here. I think that's pretty much it for Endor. The rest of these things are just little knickknacks like the catapult and more custom figures that I made. Yeah, so this will be a quick one. You know what really drives me crazy about this though, is that when I'm looking at this setup, I'm realizing how ridiculous it is that I've designed 8 new Ewok figures that I've released and I sell to people, but I've never even painted them myself to be put into the setup here. And on top of those 8, I have probably a dozen more that are in various states of development that are, I mean, this is going to be one crowded Ewok village if I ever get the wherewithal to paint the darn things. Anyway, the only thing really missing here that I'd like to have is the Ewok battle wagon. But that thing's super expensive, and frankly, where in the hell would I put that thing? I'd have to figure that one out. But anyway, someday. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed taking a quick look at my Endor setup there. As I said, I've got some growth there to do. Running out of space in the cases here, but sure would like to get that battle wagon at some point. But anyway, until next time, stay funky, everybody.